Welcome to another Business Spotlight. My name is Kerry James. I'm a business coach and facilitator. And on today's Business Spotlight, I'm delighted to welcome Emma Mills, founder of MiPA. Good afternoon to you, Emma, or good morning to you. Welcome to Business Spotlight.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on today. I'm looking forward to it.
You're very welcome. And it sounds like we might get a contribution or two from your dogs, and that's always fine in this day and age. So let's see how we go. So MiPA, how long have you been in business, please, Emma?
In March this year, it was our 15th anniversary. So quite a while. So I started in 2008, and I'd say there's like two time periods for my business. So for the first 5 years, I was a freelance VA, going to networking meetings, doing all the things you do when you first start a business, building up your clients. And then from 2012 onwards, I employed my first team member, and I guess it feels like over the past 11 years, that's when the actual MiPA business was founded and started to become a real moving entity. But yeah, 15 years in total of doing my own thing.
Okay, and how big is your team now then, Emma?
There are 35 of us in total.
And what about the geographical scope then, or is it virtual? Do you offer services outside of the UK?
Yeah, so all of the team are based in our office in Manchester. So and that's quite important for us. We're quite a tight-knit, like together team. But then in terms of our clients, they're all across the UK. We've got some in Dubai, a couple in Europe, but generally the 97% are in the UK.
Okay. And how, virtual PA support, how competitive a market would you say it is, Emma? And how might you kind of differentiate MiPA from the other competitors that you have?
Yeah. I mean, it's growing. It's such a bigger industry now, and it has skyrocketed over the past couple of years, specifically with COVID and everything that generated. I would say it is very competitive in different ways. And at MiPA, I think one of the ways that we differentiate ourselves is that I've always wanted to be provide a business support solution. So I know what it's like when you start a business, and that kind of first step of getting help is just scary for lots of reasons, isn't it? Whether like they won't do it good enough, it's your baby, employing them, keeping them busy. So with MiPA, we answer phone calls through an outsourced receptionist. We provide VA support, which can be from diary management to customer service to social media. And our third service is we do the rhythmic phone call follow-up on leads, because that's one area that a lot of small business owners will generally kind of leave to rot a little bit. They'll focus on the new marketing and the new leads, but the pot of leads that they have where there's probably money sat in the list, they don't do that rhythmically. So it is very competitive. And certainly if you were comparing call answering services, it's very price driven. If you're, with VAs, there's, I guess, more like larger style businesses like myself, or there's individuals. And so people again compare on price. But in terms of being able to go to a provider who can, provide different levels of support around a business, that's our main focus, to be more of a, oh yeah, I'm a growing business, I need some help, I'm scared to employ, talk to MiPA. That's our plan.
And what would be an ideal client then in terms of size or sector or culture or location? What would be perfect clients for you, would you say?
Yeah, I know the right answer to this question is to have a really specific niche or a really specific avatar around it. Our client base is quite mixed, but I would say that we specialize most in either solopreneurs in all sorts of sectors, but solopreneurs who actually like, some of them just, they set up their business for the reason that we all did, which is because we enjoyed what we do. Like I used to really enjoy being a PA, and they want to stay doing what they're doing, but they need some help, but they're never going to grow a team. They don't want to have the responsibility for a team. So helping solopreneurs get more out of their time, earn more, leverage their time and that can be, from a tradesman to a business coach to a mortgage broker. I guess that description of somebody who loves doing what they do, but then because you've set up on your own, all this other stuff comes with it, which you actually didn't know how to do, or you don't enjoy it, and the admin and all the stuff that comes around it. So they're like probably our top kind of client that we support. And then the other half is, I'd say, lifestyle businesses, if you like, in terms of like, say, up to 8 to 10 people that are in a team. But what generally happens most is that the owner of the business, they've put people into positions where they've all got a job to do, but still the owner themselves doesn't have any actual support in the business because everybody else has got a role and a remit. So ambitious businesses who are kind of going through that journey of going from solopreneur to a team, but the business owner themselves, you kind of forget to get support for yourself to leverage time while you're filling these other roles. So in terms of sector, it is quite mixed who we help, but I think most overall is somebody who knows they need to get some time leverage to either just finish work on time and get home and enjoy family life and, not be sorting their inbox out at 10 o'clock at night. Or people who want to use that time to earn more, see more customers.
You mentioned the market was growing before, Emma. How have all the quite significant environmental trends and dynamics affected your industry and your business, would you say, from lockdown through hybrid working, through interest rates, inflation rates, digital revolutions, all that stuff that's going on?
Yeah.
How has that all affected your business, would you say?
COVID and the kind of 2020 to 2022 period was, albeit in the very beginning when nobody knew what was happening and we had clients cancelling and pausing, apart from those first couple of months, the whole couple of years has been very positive for our sector. And I think the main thing is perception, in that if prior to people having to work from home, you'd have said to people about working virtually or not having a team in an office, or it was a much harder education. Some people got it, some people didn't. And then all of a sudden, everybody got it, that it is possible. And then we had a lot of clients that we spoke to who realized that just via the more traditional way, they had the business set up in an office, in a serviced office, whatever it might have been, having employed people in positions. It probably wasn't the most cost effective or leanest way. So it gave people an opportunity to reassess what they were doing. So certainly, yeah, the pandemic, I think, for the virtual assistant industry, for outsourcing generally, I think, even contractors that we work with, that they might have visited our office once a month, we now see them virtually, and that's continued. And so I think anybody that had that kind of could work virtually, it's completely changed the game for it. So it's grown our sector massively, I would say.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And so in terms of MiPA as a business now, and where you maybe want to be in the future, what would you say are your specific challenges?
Certainly AI. It's a challenge and it's a blessing in lots of ways. And at the moment, like right now, we are focusing on how we can implement that to be basically MiPA powered by AI, because certainly, I guess in the next 18 months to 2 years, I can't imagine it being so drastically changing the administrative workplace. But I think after 2 years' time, certainly the admin sector has to be one of the ones that's going to be drastically impacted. So for us, there's definitely parts of our business now that we know probably in a couple of years' time, AI is going to be able to do really, really well. So we need to prepare for that and embrace it now, implement it. And I think one of our focuses is, and the one that probably AI is much further behind on, is I think most of us will start to really, really cherish like human impact, human relationships, human people doing things. And so the thing that AI, I think where humans are still going to have the benefit right now, is anything that it needs emotional intelligence or to be able to handle a relationship or a conversation. So it's one of the reasons why we're really focusing on our lead follow-up service at the moment, because that kind of conversation of somebody, like why they're not ready to buy yet, when they are, what questions they might have, it's so beneficial to most business owners to convert more sales from the leads that they have. But for us, in terms of challenges, we're aware that we need to provide more value in terms of relationship building services for our clients, as things like very, very process driven, high volume tasks I know are going to be affected by AI in the coming years. So yeah, anything we can do to add value from a relationship building point of view with our customers is our key focus at the moment.
Okay. And So, in terms of the services you see at most threat from AI, what might they be then, Emma?
Certainly answering the phone on more simple calls. So that kind of first level of, can I speak to Kerry? He's not available at the moment. Can I take a message? Phone number, what's it about? Like that, I can see that kind of progressing quite quickly. And so, but again, but if then, so for example, kinds of phone calls where it's like, well, what's it about? I've got questions about this. Okay, like a more considered, involved conversation, but I can certainly see like simple level one phone calls starting to be, and obviously, you know, call centers in the UK are huge in number. I think there's like around 850 call centers in the UK. So, that's probably first. I mean, I think Google already has. I can't remember the name of their AI, but there's certainly a recording of it ringing a hair salon, making an appointment, and booking it in the calendar. So you know, like that kind of that formulaic phone call thing, I think is going to be one of the first ones to come in and impact the industry.
Yeah, AI kind of combined with automation. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So, what about the future of MyPA? What aspirations do you have for your business, Emma?
Um, our aspiration has always been to be like the number one choice when you're a business owner. You know, you need help, but you don't quite know what the next step is, and you don't want to employ, to be the word, like the name on somebody's lips to refer. And right now we've been helping business owners for the past 15 years, and we've been focusing on our lead follow-up service for the past 6 months, and we see the impact it has. Most specifically, like, you know, once you've booked somebody an appointment and they can convert a sale, it's a real tangible benefit to our clients. So our focus is to be the UK's number one lead follow-up service, because there aren't many services that exist in that way, in terms of working the existing leads you've got. So that is our focus right now, because I know the impact it can have on getting more bang for your buck, basically, on your marketing spend.
And how do you think that might impact on the size and shape of MyPA over the next 3 to 5 years? Have you got aspirations for a certain growth level or a certain number of team members or anything like that?
We have, yes. So in terms of like team members over the next 2 to 3 years, it would take us up to the 50. Yeah, 50 in terms of team numbers. I mean, like over the past 2 years, we've grown by 147%, which it's really wild as well. Like that happened in the past 2 years. The previous 13 years, our journey was like a little bit of growth, a little bit back, a little bit of growth, a little bit back. Like most business owners, I feel like you're in it for so long, you think, when's it going to happen? Then all of a sudden it happens. So we've grown a lot in the past 2 years. It's definitely not sustainable to keep growing like that. But yeah, certainly over the next three years, it's to get us up to like the 50 team member point, predominantly focused on following up leads.
Okay. Well, you mentioned you started off as a PA yourself, so I'm sure you've learned a lot going through that journey from PA to business owner of a team of 35. If you were giving yourself advice, knowing what you know now, on day one of when you started growing your business or started establishing your business, Emma, what would you say are the main lessons you've learned as a business owner?
Um, the top things that come to mind is that everything is solvable and learnable. And what I mean by that is, I mean, I think we've all had times in our business when something happens and it feels like the end of the world, and a couple of days pass or a week passes and it's not. And obviously you learn from those things and you move forwards. But in terms of learnable, I when I started my business, I was super aware that in terms of like public speaking, doing things like this, like, you know, being recorded on an interview, I was absolutely terrible at. And whilst I'm no like great orator now, I really realized that just the more, because I would class myself as a natural introvert, but the more you focus on like, okay, I want to solve this, I want to be able to speak in front of a room full of people, like it's all completely doable, even if it feels like it's so far away from like what you naturally enjoy. So being a business owner, it puts you into obviously all sorts of situations, things where you have to do things you don't want to do, you know, even like standing up and doing your 60-second pitch in a room of networking and just all those things. I think the fact that it's like, it's fine because everything's learnable has been a really big one for me. Because I think for most business owners, your skill set, wherever you start, you have to like just keep growing and learning, and whether it's marketing, culture, all the things you have to know how to do. So that's definitely a big one, because yeah, I think I've certainly in the earlier days spent too much time worrying about how I would do that or whether I was going to be able to do it. And I think the other big one, which I've learned more so probably from 2020 onwards, is about not saying yes to everything. And prior to 2020, there was a couple of years where there was different opportunities coming our way, people that wanted to start other businesses with us, other services, somebody was interested in buying the business. And whilst, as particularly with the other like business opportunities and starting other products and services with other people, and I would be very much like, this is exciting, okay, and my time got really diluted. And what happened at the beginning of COVID was that, because it was like, oh wow, I really need to make sure that my PA survives and lives, and I need to go all in on this. It's something I never stopped going all in on my PA, as opposed to like diluting my time. And I learned in a really big way that the more I just focused on how we're going to get this business forwards, the better we did. Whereas before I was very, very much like, okay, well, you've got an idea. Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, let's try. Do you know? And I get kind of like carried away with like, oh, this could be the next big idea or the next big thing. But actually, the more time I just put all into the one thing, the better it did. So yeah, my big one that I have to keep reminding myself of all the time is just don't say yes to everything straight away.
Yeah, very good. So get out of your comfort zone as often as you can. But keep focused in where you want to get to. Yes, I don't know whether you're familiar. There's a book called The One Thing, which speaks to exactly that message. Can't remember who it's by, but it's on my shelf at home. Very good. Well, it's been great to hear your journey, Emma. Thanks ever so much for your time and your contribution. One final question, if I may.
Yeah.
Anybody, and clearly we get a lot of viewers to the business spotlight. If any business owner is maybe interested in getting a sense of what your services are about, do you have any suggestions in terms of a next step?
Absolutely. So our website is mi-pa.co.uk. And on there is, I guess, is two main things. So business owners can try our call answering for free, and it's on every single page on the website, call answering trial. And then we do also have a download. So I'm a big believer in, when we have new clients coming up to us, that most often they don't know what to delegate, and to be able to know, auditing your time is a great place to start. So we have a productivity planner. So mipa.co.uk/productivity planner has a downloadable PDF with a video to go with it of how to use it, so you can understand where you've spent your time in the day, and then what of those things you could actually pass to a VA, PA, someone in your team.
That's great. Well, I might have a look at that myself. Emma, we spend a lot of time doing time management with our clients, and the step process we go through is, how do you spend your time? Auditing you spend your time, because that often surprises people, like if they spend a lot more than they thought, or a lot less than they thought. So how do you currently spend it? How should you spend your time, which is planning? What should you delegate? And finally, the areas of self-discipline and diary management and focus and discipline and to-do lists and all those daily habits of time management. So yeah, I'll definitely have a look at that. Very
Amazing.
good. Well, once again, thanks ever so much, Emma. We'll put the URL that you just mentioned onto the links with this video. And thanks again for your time, and all the very best with MiPA.
Thanks so much, Kerry. It's been lovely to chat to you today.
All the best. Bye for now.